Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Yoders Talk. I'm your host, Clinton Yoder, as always, the beautiful, gorgeous Cory McClendon that's sitting beside me here. Today's episode is going to be a lot of fun. It is Valentines, Cory.
That's right. Guys, if you have forgotten that it's Valentine's Day, there is still time.
You better hurry, though.
The card selection may be slim, but just try to stick to the wife's or girlfriend. Try not to get into the mom section.
Yeah, we'll get
that
you
will
into
not
a
go
lot
over
of
well. Not go over well.
Yes. But yeah, we're super excited. Sit back, enjoy this. We're not an expert on this subject, but we're going to give our insight and our input is all it is. It's just our input and our life experience through this. So sit back and enjoy. This is episode 2 of season 2 of Yoders Talk.
The people that say that marriage is 50-50, honestly, that's a crock is what that is.
I have my career, you have your career. Okay, that's fine, but you're still one.
Yeah.
You got to remember, you're still one. How much do you actually value your wife's opinion in a business decision? All right, guys, y'all all tuned in. We are ready to get at it. Love.
It's the day of love.
It's the day of love, Cory. What do you got to say?
You know, first of all, I think I want to start out with saying, Lauren, I love you so much. You mean the world to me. Happy Valentine's Day. You are the wind beneath my wings, and I don't tell everyone that. It's just you. So, happy Valentine's Day, honey.
Lauren, he told me that before we started the podcast. He definitely told me that before the podcast.
I love it. I love it. And for me, I also want to take this moment to first and foremost thank the good Lord for the amazing wife that I have. Jessica's been a rock in my life that's kept me grounded. I want to say thank you. I love you. I wouldn't be who I am today without you. Your support, supporting my craziness with these businesses and things like that has been truly an honor. And I can honestly say I truly believe you're a lady from Proverbs 31 there, a virtuous woman, and I want to acknowledge that. And I want to thank you for what you do for me, what you do for our children, and I love you and hope you have an amazing Valentine's Day. So,
can I go back and do mine? Come on. Jeez.
Oh, I love
It's
it,
not
guys.
starting well for me.
So, Cory, man, you know, we joke a lot about Valentine's.
Mm-hmm.
We joke about, you know, things about our wives and stuff, you know, in a sense, not in a negative way. But truthfully, man, they're our rock, man. They're the ones that hold us together, truly. And it's throughout the years in my life, I've seen the value that a godly wife can bring to your success, and not only to your success, to just the happiness of your life. And I'm blessed to have a wife that truly does have a heart after God. And it's one of them things that not every man out there probably can say that. There's probably and not every lady out there can say that as well. I want to make that clear that you know, their husband being a man after God, and it makes it changes your marriage.
Yeah.
When God is centered in it. So yeah, this is gonna be fun.
I'm excited to talk about this today because this is something that in my life I just value so much, and because of my past and things, to have Lauren that truly becomes, you know, when I have a crazy day, when I have, you know, I'm stressed out or whatever, we have a thing where as soon as I get off work and she gets off work, you know, we call each other, and just hearing her voice calms me down and makes everything right in the world, and I value that, and I'm really thankful for her. So just to talk about that today, and just talk about the challenges that me and you have both faced.
Absolutely.
The lessons we've learned. And maybe we can give some tips today of how, you know, our wives are really the backbones of making us successful.
100%. I believe that behind every successful man, there's a very successful and godly woman. I believe that wholeheartedly. And if whether that's in a career that she's in, or she's just a mother at home, whatever that is, the support of a godly woman behind what you're doing is what catapults you forward in your success. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I think that's biblical.
Yeah,
I really believe that's biblical. Even
absolutely.
Says there in Proverbs 31, I'll read verse 10 and 11. It says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil."
Yeah.
And I truly believe I can say this, and I believe you can say this too. We have that in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Lauren, she does such a good job. This year's been challenging for us with the addition of Wiley, the coyote, and he acts just like a coyote. That child's crazy. But our little 1-year-old, this has been something that this is her first time being a mom, and though she was Jeremiah's bonus mom before that, this is like seeing her grow into being a mother. Like, man, it's been awesome to see, and just her take charge of all the little things that, like she doesn't, there's things that she worries about because she knows, okay, Cory's got all this going on, and she takes care of it, so I don't have to worry about it. And then, man, she's just so valuable to me, and people don't understand, like, I don't get to do these things if I don't have her.
Agreed. 100%. What impacts would a wife have? Let's talk on this. Let's look on the negative side, not our wives, but let's we love y'all, but let's transition off of that just a little bit. What do you feel, Cory, if a man has or a wife has their spouse isn't what bringing to the table what we're talking about here? And I know this is a deep question, but what are some areas that we can do on our part to maybe help them see areas that they can grow in? I know that's a deep question, but I think it's real. I think in today's world, there's a lot of people out there that are not even sure which way to turn because they don't have that support from their spouse.
Yeah, I think, I know in my life, and I've been vocal about this, I've actually been divorced before to my first wife. And in my second marriage with Lauren, like, God's blessed me with her. I've not always done everything right. That's why I say that, obviously. In those situations, the things that I try to do now, when, because, like, I love Lauren to death, we still get in disagreements.
Absolutely. It's marriage.
Marriage is work. The people that say that marriage is 50-50, honestly, that's a crock is what that is. Marriage is 100-100.
Amen.
Like, it's a ton of work. It's truly understanding that, like, to love that person means setting some of your wants and desires back and saying, hey, listen, if I've got to take a back seat to what you're wanting to do right now, I'm willing to do that because I love you. And but for me, when maybe I'm not receiving, maybe I'm frustrated, or maybe I'm not receiving the love or the attention I want, I think in the past, I've almost went at it like a spoiled kid, and like, oh, it's me, I'm not getting this. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. You're trying to do this, 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 and this. Where as I've aged and got more mature in marriage and building a relationship with my wife, I try to use a lot of me statements or a lot of I statements. So, for instance, having a situation where you're frustrated, or a person, your spouse or or whatever did something that frustrated you, instead of saying you did this and you did it with this intention, try to use statements like, when you did that, it made me feel this way, and truly help them understand your perspective. And I think you would get a lot of results out of that, because the thing that you have to flip everything with a relationship. When I'm in a situation and my wife's frustrated, I'm trying to understand why she's frustrated. And so when she says, when you did this, it made me feel that way, it unlocks her perspective for me. And I'm able to see she took it this way. And if that was not my intent, I can sit there and go, well, honey, I apologize for making you feel that way. Here was my intention.
Yeah.
And it allows you to communicate on a better level.
You said the word right there, communicate.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman I listen to a lot, and he talks about the communication in marriage, the communication breakdown in marriage. And I see this in my life too. If I'm not daily communicating with my wife, my struggles, my needs, I think we talk about it in our business all the time about how we want to speak it.
Yeah.
If it's on your heart, speak it.
Yeah.
Be careful with that in marriage to a point. But yet, what I'm trying to get at is so many people in their marriages, and I've done this, so I'm talking from experience, they will have something that they're struggling with towards their spouse. But that spouse never, ever finds out that there's actually a thing happening.
Yeah.
How is it fair to the spouse that doesn't know that what they're doing is not okay, or what they're not doing is not okay? So in my relationship, and me and my wife talk about this all the time, is we have to be always in communication with each other. And personalities make a big play. Like my wife's personality, for example, she's very organized, and I am a disaster.
Yeah.
I am an absolute disaster. But I've realized over the last few years in marriage that she needs to know what's happening. I don't. I could care less.
Yeah.
To be honest, after we're done recording this, I mean, I got things to do, but I'm not very organized of what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. We leave for Costa Rica Monday. I don't even have my stuff together, but I will.
It's fine.
She's been planning for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
She's been getting stuff ready for 3-4 weeks already. But I'm realizing in this process of packing that I've had to do a few things that I wouldn't have normally done if it but I knew she needed that from me as far as, doing things ahead of time.
Yeah.
My personal things that I got to do are the things that I'm lacking, but things that involve her, I'm making sure they're done in time. They're done where she understands it, because that is me sacrificing myself for her.
Yeah. Now,
let's flip the script. Okay? There's another side of it that she realizes in my life that sometimes I like to wing it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give an example. We did a vacation back 2017, and I asked her this question. She was always been very like trips planned out. She's like trips planned out and everything like that. I asked her, can I book a hotel room? And that's all we do. That's the plans. That is the plan, is book a hotel room.
Yeah.
Because we got to have a place to stay. But once we get there, we'll figure out what to do. She was willing to. Did that stress her out?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Absolutely. But she was willing to sacrifice that for me.
Yeah.
So marriage is all about sacrifice.
Yeah.
And playing it into the business side of it, it's really the same scenario as far as the communication things, the communication breakdowns. If you have a breakdown in your business and communication, what happens? Everyone that's in business knows.
Yeah. We
ain't got to even tell you. Why do we expect any different in marriage?
Yeah. And that's key. Like I'm notorious for I'm notorious to my wife, and she knows that I'm like day of, hey, I got this thing going on. And I'm trying to get better for her, so but I'm willing to make that adjustment, for her. But also, like, here's the other thing, like, it's also doing something good inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her because my wife's the same way. She's very organized. Like, she likes to know what's happening, all that stuff. And I'm very much, hey, I'll wake up. I don't know what I'm gonna eat for breakfast in the morning. It's just whatever hits me, man. Like, it's whatever. And so, but she's forcing me, and I shouldn't say forcing. That sounds like terrible, but she is helping me be more organized, in my life. And I'm also kind of teaching her how to be a little bit more spontaneous and just go with the moment because, so it's awesome. It's really a marriage, like, to me, where marriage starts is, Genesis, I've got it wrote down, Genesis 2:24, it says, when this is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife and they become one flesh. That's not always fun, becoming one flesh. Like, that's challenging at times because the way you see the world is different. Like, that's nothing new. We hear about this all the time on social media, so we should talk about it inside of our lives. Is men and women are different. They are equal in value, but they are not the same.
Amen.
Okay? Like, my wife is super valuable to me, but there are things that my wife does better than I do. And there are things that I do that are better than she does. So becoming one flesh, at times, our worldviews are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, like, hunting and stuff, and my wife is not the biggest hunter in the world because she sees the poor little innocent little animals, and I see the with predators, I see the devastation they cause.
Right.
And for her, she doesn't see ethically taking care of land the same way I see it. So what I'm trying to convey here is becoming one flesh at times means there is conflict.
Mm-hmm.
But the purpose of this is, and this has everything to do with finding the right person.
Mm-hmm.
When you find the right person, you love them enough to compromise and to do the things that, hey, I can see your worldview, though it may not be exactly my worldview, I can take into account the way you see things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think too, you mentioned the thing about one flesh. I think that's key. What is it? It says one flesh.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, well, I get to have myself and you get to have yourself. It's one flesh. There's not two self. Mm-hmm. Well, today's world, we hear it all the time. I have my career, you have your career. Okay, that's fine, but you're still one.
Yeah.
You got to remember, you're still one flesh. So the decisions Clinton makes in the business are decisions that Jessica's making as well.
Yeah.
We're one flesh. It affects her directly, so why should she not have an opinion of it?
Yeah.
Same way, vice versa. If there's something in her life that will affect me in a sense, and not only just affect me, just in general, I should be part of that decision making because this is no longer about me and her. It's about us.
Yeah.
And we have got that mixed up today in today's world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything is about, they're separate, and again, there's people that have separate bank accounts for different reasons, but I'm a firm believer that is part of a marriage, is unifying your finances, unifying your beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. That's another side. That how can your beliefs be, if your beliefs are here and here, not saying you can't compromise somewhat, but, and I guess that's part of before marriage process as well.
you gotta weed some of that.
You should have some of that stuff weeded out, but I believe that's very, very vital. Now let's shift a little into this, the value, talking now business,
mm-hmm.
okay? Because this is about business, but so we want to touch on that. How much do you value your wife's opinion if you're a business owner, if you're, it really doesn't matter what position you're in a business, but how much do you actually value your wife's opinion in a business decision? Because so many times, what's the business? So I'm going to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
This is my business. This is her business. She's going to make the decision, whatever that is. But the fact is, a opinion from, I would call it a bird's eye view. Most times, actually, there's not been a time that my wife hasn't told me, hey, I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a lot of people talk about this. I think Dave Ramsey says this a lot about his wife, that every single hire, when they first started out, there was a lunch sit down between him and his wife and the new hire.
Mm-hmm.
And he always valued her opinion on it. So that's the same way in our lives as well, in my life with my wife. There's been times that she has given me a different way to look at something. And if I would have followed my original thought, my original heart, it'd have been devastating for us.
Yeah.
So value a godly woman's opinion, because it says here, this is biblical. In your business, it says, who can find a virtuous woman for a price as far above rubies? We mentioned that already. So the value that a godly woman brings to your life is, there's not financially, it's so far above financially, but that's included.
Yeah.
It says somewhere as well that her husband will have no, I have to find that verse, but basically he'll never have to worry about success. It will be there. It'll automatically come with it.
Yeah.
It's somewhere found here in Proverbs 31, and I'll try to find that for y'all then. But there's so much value that a virtuous woman will bring, or a godly man will bring to the table in business, the spouse.
Well, you have to think about this. Sometimes when you're in the day-to-day stuff in business, you get that keyhole effect where you just look like you're looking through a keyhole. You know, some of the most challenging times that I've had, you know, here or in past employments, you know, when I bring it up to my wife and I'm like, hey, you know, hey babe, what do you think about this situation, and having her, you know, perspective, and sometimes I love my wife to death. Sometimes she's kind of like that. She's kind of like a, gosh, how should I say this so I don't get in trouble on Valentine's Day? You know, she's my biggest defender.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when somebody doesn't do something exactly nice to me, you know, she's like, do I need to go fight them? You know, and I'm like, no, but they're fine. You can't fight anyway. But you know, but having someone to almost change your perspective on it and see it in a different way, because like we've already talked about, men and women see the world differently.
Completely. And
so having her give me, hey, this is what I think about this situation, sometimes is the difference. You know, I talk to her a ton about all the new things we're doing, and she knows a ton about, just because I go home talking about it. And, you know, having her go, you know, she'll send me texts sometimes, hey, I was thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why don't you do it this way?
Mm-hmm.
I think you would be able to do this better. And things like that. That means the world to me.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times men and women, or husbands and wives, they get into this situation where they're separated, and it's like they have this almost like a little 5-minute check-in over dinner. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, how's work going? It's fine. You know, or how's work going for you? It's okay. But when you're truly invested in each other's lives, you know, like, to me, if I didn't have Lauren backing me with everything I'm doing, why am I doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my biggest responsibility is to her and my boys.
Yes, that's the first responsibility. Yes.
Like, and so if she's not supporting me, I have no motivation for it. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with it. And like, I'll give you an example. There are I talked about this in season 1. I love baseball. Y'all can see I love baseball.
Oh, that old fantasy football trophy over there,
Well,
cheating this season.
There's no cheating. But
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say this because we're on it. Congratulations on winning the company's fantasy football league back-to-back years.
Thank
It is a privilege to dethrone you next year.
Well,
now you can continue.
We'll see. But we're a baseball family.
Mhm.
So we're about to gear up and go into spring baseball. And that's not just a me commitment. That's not just a me and Jeremiah commitment. That is a
family commitment.
A family commitment. Wiley will be at the ballpark toddling around, and she's going to have to wrangle him all season.
Mhm.
And so, there are days that she's tired and she's not so fired up about going to the ballpark and sitting for, 3 or 4 hours, and that's okay. But, there are times that, when she doesn't want to do that, I don't want to do that, even though it's my passion.
Uh-huh.
Even though I love baseball, I love helping young men become, not just great baseball players, but great men.
Uh-huh.
But I'm trying to illustrate what a wife can do for a man. Is it doesn't matter how passionate it is about it. All I care about is am I setting the bar for my wife?
Mm-hmm.
Am I reaching where she needs me to be? Mm-hmm. And so if it's not doing it for her, then I don't want to do it either.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the value to that, the decisions you mentioned about even if they don't totally understand or like what you're doing, as far as that's not their passion. Okay. There's things that I do that my wife's like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, she hates fantasy football.
Yeah, it's stupid. But you know what's crazy? Even in them things, she supports me.
Oh, absolutely.
She's my biggest cheerleader.
Oh, we'll sit there and watch Red Zone all Sunday.
My wife doesn't have a clue about football, but if I win fantasy football next year, she's going to be fired up for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That is what true support is. And if in your life as a man, and I can say this, we desire support from our wives. We desire that thing. Hey, hon, good job.
Yeah.
That's part of us. We want that. We're actually big babies.
Oh, 100%.
That's really what we are. If we're being honest, we're big babies.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes why marriages struggle is because maybe I'll be careful how I say this. I'll definitely get in trouble. Again, this is strictly from a man's perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to add that in there. This is from a man's perspective. Maybe just you saying them words of good job, start just saying them few words could change the trajectory of your marriage. Because as men, we crave that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We absolutely crave that. So if you're lacking that closeness with your husband or closeness with your wife, just maybe them few little subtle things of acknowledging them and acknowledging their success and saying, I support you and I'm here for you, and what can I do for you, would fix a lot of marriages, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because us as men, again, from a man's perspective, we want to be babied. We want to be. I'm just saying it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a fact. I mean, we're sitting here, we act all big and bad like we try to do, but the fact is, we like to be babied.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, Sean? Where you at, Sean?
Sean,
Hey.
he's like, nah, boys, y'all ain't dragging me down with you.
I have I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Yes.
It's the thing of we want attention. We crave attention.
Oh yeah. My marriage and stuff is a little different. You know how I mess with you guys like all the time.
Uh-huh.
That goes on at my house too. When we went and got like the Miata and stuff, she always expects me to just prank her or kidding around and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, you want to go with me? Look, she goes with me every time Like if I get a car,
Support.
yeah, she supports
go.
me in
Support,
everything.
yep.
So, like we went to go get a car, and she was like, "What are you looking at?" Because I'm a huge Miata fan. It's all I buy is Miatas, and so I was like, "I'm going to look at like a Ford Focus," and she was like, "You know what I mean?" And so we went and we pulled up in the yard, and the guy's Miata was sitting there, and I was like, I just looked at her, and she was like, are you serious? And I was like, I just got out of the car, shut the door.
But that's the thing, Sean. That's what like that we're saying. I mean, it's that thing of her just going with you.
Oh, it means the world.
It means the world to us, man.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, and Lauren knows this. Like, I don't like I'm the cook at our house. I love cooking. That's one thing I am against gender roles when it comes to cooking. I love cooking. Everybody get out of my kitchen. All right. You don't get to be my size and not know how to throw down in the kitchen. All right. Just going to go ahead and say that. But like, the thing is, like, I don't care if I'm going to the grocery store. I don't care where I'm going. I want my wife with me.
Mm-hmm.
She's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but on your point about like, hey, yeah, we do like that pat on the back. But I want to be a little direct towards men. Hey, give them a reason to pat you on the back.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. Like I can say in my life, with me being married twice, and I'm not scared to talk about that. Like one of the reasons that I do have 2 marriages is I didn't give my first wife a reason to pat me on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't the man I needed to be, and thank God that I've learned my lesson. And now with Lauren, like, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the man that she's proud to be married to. Like, I want to be like, I want her, like, she's my biggest encourager though. Like times that, me and I'm like my world, I'm the worst critic in the world about me. Like times that I'm down on myself, I'm not a good enough dad. I'm not doing a good job at work. Like I'm not doing all this stuff. She's the one that's always right there by my side saying, "You're a great dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're killing it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're an awesome husband. Like you're like." She tells me, she's like, Yoder Metal's lucky to have you. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And I appreciate that. Like, because there are times like in a man's life that it is kind of like because we've always been taught like, hey, be a man, like don't show any emotions, things like that. Like that you need somebody in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm blessed that a lot of people have to rely on their friends, like their guy friends for that. Like I'm blessed because I have a wife that is that.
Yes.
She sees everything. Like she knows more about me than anybody else on this earth. And so she knows that she knows that the things I'm struggling with, and thank Jesus that she calls me out on them.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't let me, one of the things that I struggle with, and this is the craziest thing. This is crazy because I'll pray on a podcast with all of our followers and stuff like that, and I'll be bold about it, and I'm bold for Christ like I used to pastor and stuff like that. You know where I get scared to pray? With me and my wife. I get scared.
That's real though.
Oh, it's 100% real. And you know what? I'm so thankful that my wife encourages me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cory, just pray. It's just me and you, and I do the same thing for her. Mm-hmm. And those things are big with relationships. Like encourage each other. But men, you want that pat in the back, do something worth getting patted on the back for.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad you shifted that now because we needed to go there.
Yeah.
Men, if you're having a tough time in your marriage, start with you. Check with yourself, because most times you'll realize that you are not giving your marriage everything you got.
Yeah.
Well, my wife doesn't support me. Why does she support you? Or how does your wife support you? Well, maybe, just maybe, like you said, we've given them a reason to support us.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. When your wife is in a group that you're not there, and somehow you get mentioned, have you given her a reason to be proud to talk about you in front of others? Have you given her a reason to talk positive around her friends about you? Have you given her a reason for her to gossip to her friends about you?
Yeah.
Think about that. Have you truly given your wife, I would call it what Valentines, we think Valentines is all lovely, lovely. What is love? Think about it. Love is hard. Love is not easy. And that's what this world has gotten confused is, we're supposed to love everybody. That's not the kind of love that we're referring to.
Yeah.
Love is hard. There's growth involved. So guys, quit this thing of my wife is this and my wife is that. One thing I have in my life, if a man talks negative about his wife around me, I'm calling him out.
Yeah.
I am going to say something because it is wrong to talk about your wife negatively around others. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, you want to destroy your marriage, you want to destroy your man, do that to your friends. Talk about your husband to your friends in a negative way. Now, I'm not referring to the fact that there are times that there's marriages where a lady or a man need counseling. They need to talk about it because the marriage is wrong. The marriage is on the rocks. It's about to fall apart, and they're just trying to get advice. That's not what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
What I'm referring to is purposely talking negative about your spouse. Remember, we mentioned earlier that you're one flesh. When you talk negative about your spouse, what are you doing? You're actually you're talking negative about yourself.
Yeah, and
because you chose that person.
Let's with that. This is something that like me and Lauren talk about all the time is like when you get married, and this is huge, and I might ruffle some feathers, but envision the day you got married at the altar. When I got married, they asked, hold hands. And so you're both holding both hands together, and it's a circle. Inside of that circle, that's the only people that get to have an opinion about your marriage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There ain't nobody else. There's no friends, no nothing. And I'm probably going to ruffle some real feathers here. Hey, mom and dad of that young married couple, you don't get an opinion about their marriage.
Back off.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
The Bible tells us in that verse that a man leaves his father and mother. Okay? That means that no longer are they are a part of your family, but they just created a new family.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'm all about, I love my father-in-law. I love him to death. Stan Sheffield, if I am half the man that you are, I'm going to be doing all right. My dad, love my dad to death. He is so awesome. But I may get an opinion because I'm a young man and they've both been through it on how to do stuff. But at the end of the day, what I do with my family and my house, it's my call.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say it's my call. It's me and my wife's call.
Mm-hmm.
What me and Lauren decide to do, that is our decision. What we decide to do for our children, that's our decision. Mm-hmm. Don't if you got a problem with your wife or your spouse, communicate it to them.
Not to your mom and dad.
Yeah, not to your buddies, not while you're out on the golf course of saying, she's always nagging me or stuff like that. Well, maybe she's nagging you because you don't get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe you're sitting on the couch on your phone every night while she's dealing with the kids running around all day long.
Yeah.
And all she wants when you get home is to give her a hug and ask her, how's your day? Is there anything I can do for you? I know you've had a crazy day with the kids. Yeah. Remember, guys, we are the foundation of the home. You can argue with me. You can tell me I'm wrong, and that's okay. But I believe that us men are a foundation. According to the Word of God, we are the foundation of the home. Mm-hmm. So, men, quit thinking, oh, I got all this weight. It's not fair. Guess what? You're built for it.
Yeah.
God designed you to be the one to hold up, to be the anchor of the family, to bear the weight of the family.
Yeah.
You're made for that.
Hey, you got broad shoulders.
You got broad shoulders, so suck it up.
Yeah, get after it.
Exactly.
And hey, listen, I'm a baby sometimes. It stinks.
Absolutely.
To have to be the, there's days. What the hell? My house is crazy. There's days like yesterday. I came home and the baby's got, he's running a fever. He's got like something going on with his ears. I think he's got like his like fourth ear infection. I don't know. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, like you're just
my
like
boys.
he's in daycare. He's a petri dish. Okay. And so like we had my 7-year-old with me that last night, and so I like walk in. Bluey's on the television. The baby's in Mama's lap, just crying. Jeremiah's in the living room, like with a hula hoop for some reason, just hula hooping, and it's just chaos. But you know what? When Dad comes home, like there's something that happens when I walk into that house. My attitude towards my family sets the tone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like being like, you have to understand, like there is a leadership mantle upon your life that you set the tone for your family.
Absolutely.
Like I walk in, the 7-year-old about form tackles me out of the door, because Daddy's home.
Mm-hmm.
The baby's like, he sees me and he's like, "Nah, dude, you ain't my mama. Don't even." Like, but like I can tell Lauren's like a little frazzled. I go into, and this is not a brag on me. This is just like, I'm just telling you what happened. Like, I see she's stressed out. Hey, why don't I take the baby? Me and him go upstairs and try to just calm him down for a little bit. You and Jeremiah order a pizza, like, which is not in our budget, like, but drastic.
But you're going to figure out how.
Yeah, drastic.
That's your
times
job.
call
It's you're taking that weight.
Yeah,
even if it's not.
Order a pizza. When it gets here, come upstairs. We're gonna eat pizza in our bedroom on the bed. We're gonna watch Bluey or whatever else we're gonna watch, and we're gonna. Hey,
and everybody's gonna take a breath.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and doing that for my wife, like, it means something to her.
Yes.
And I can say in my past life that I haven't always been that person. I've been that person that says, gets home, oh, what a day, and they sit down on the couch and kick their feet up.
And you got to be careful that you don't have a standard set that if it doesn't get met at home one day and you get home and that standard that you somehow came up with in your own head isn't met, and now, well, why not? And you start the conversation off of why nots instead of, honey, how's your day?
Yeah. And
she may start bawling and say, I'm about to lose my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And so be careful that you don't set a standard for your family that's not able to be reached.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's happening at home, especially if your wife happens to be someone that is a stay-at-home mom or something like that. You really don't know what goes on,
No.
what all has happened, because you've been at work, and you don't have a clue. Now, transitioning just a smidge here, as far as what can a wife do for a man when he comes home stressed? Okay. Now, this is completely different. And I actually was talking to someone yesterday about this, and he had a different perspective, and I thought it was pretty good. He said this: a man can have his world rocked at work, come home, and you would expect him to need to just unload and just get everything out. But let me tell you what a man needs. He needs you to walk up to him. Let me tell you something. If you're one flesh, you're going to look in his face and know he's had a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to walk up to him. You're going to give him a big hug, and you're going to hold it for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just going to let him know that you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Guess what you've just done for your man? You have taken a load off of him.
Absolutely.
You have taken him from the chaos of this world to what really matters.
Yeah.
And that's what's right in front of you. A man, that is kind of the way a man resets, is the embrace of his wife.
Absolutely. That's
And another thing, be careful that when you get home, that, let me tell you something right now, your wife is the most important person in that house.
Mm-hmm.
I love my kids to death.
Oh yeah.
But when you
great.
walk through that door, you give mama the first kiss. You give mama the first hug.
That's right.
You tell the kids, then you give the kids a hug, but after that you go back to mama.
Hey, I can make. I've only got one of her. I can make more of them.
That's right.
I love
no, but that's kind of where it is. I mean, a man, we de-stress differently than a woman.
Yeah.
And I believe I wanted to touch on that as well. Just sometimes it's just that acknowledgement, that big hug, and that embrace from your wife from a long day, that's like just takes that edge off.
Oh, dude, it's like the best feeling in the world. Like my Lauren, like I told y'all, like we call each other on the way home because I have about an hour drive home, and so she'll call me, and she knows exactly how my day went by how I answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so some days I'm like, hey honey, bunches of oats, or I'm really playful, or sometimes it's hey honey, and she knows exactly what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And just to walk in and yeah, now there are a lot of days I am form tackled at the door, but to work past that and get to my wife, like it's awesome to have a hug from her or a kiss or whatever, and she just means the world to me. That and there are challenges in marriage, and one of the talking about kids, like when you go from being a young married couple to having your first kid, can I tell you, hey, you're in for some
yeah,
there's some challenges with that. Like one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up about this, like support your wives in that time, because I know Lauren and Katie, my ex-wife, they both dealt with a lot of post-traumatic stress after the baby, and those times are challenging.
I'm not sure if it's called that.
I don't know what it's called. Postpartum. I'm sorry.
I just want
sorry,
to
guys.
correct
Yeah.
And it could be that as well.
So yeah, anyway, but postpartum after having the baby, that time as a man is not a time to disengage.
That's the time to engage.
It is time to engage. Guys, like if you've never been through it, like it is not like, I hate talking about I don't hate talking about it. I hate how it's conveyed, that it's just the baby blues and stuff like that. It's not.
A lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper. And a lot of times through that time they have a lot of self-doubt as a mother. They're not a good mother. They're not this, they're not that, and they need your support. And statistically over that time, that's when a lot of marriages go south.
Yeah.
And that's totally wrong to your wife, man. She just carried on your legacy in a sense.
Yeah.
By bringing this baby into the world. So you better do your part, man.
Engage.
Yes.
Engage. Support them. Let them vent, and if they just need to cry, let them cry.
And don't always have an answer. Sometimes
gosh.
just listen.
Yeah, just listen to them, man.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to hit that because that's something that's not talked about in a change in marriage, and I think it's so important.
Yeah. So, guys, before we transition over to the next segment here, remember, support your wife as you go, whatever she's facing, be there for her, care for her. Wives, when your man comes home, embrace him. You're one flesh. Don't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
That's biblical. You're one flesh. You're not two anymore. You're one. Guys, that's there's a lot of value in viewing it that way. I think a lot of heartaches can be avoided. So now I'm going to ask, transitioning now, Cory. This is going to be fun. What are some ideas? This is Valentine's Day. Here we go. What are some ideas, simple ideas that may be budget ideas, because we're big about a budgeted ideas, but yet mean a lot to your spouse, or maybe your spouse, vice versa, man to, or husband to wife, or wife to husband. What are some ideas?
Here's the biggest deal, guys. When you're buying, like when you're trying to get a gift for them or get something for Valentine's Day, don't go the easy route. Like don't go, okay, and I have to be careful here because I haven't bought her gift yet, so I'm not backing myself into a corner here. It's fine. Don't just buy like a Starbucks gift card and give to her with a 99-cent card, like, and throw it out there. Like, do something from the heart.
And it doesn't even always have to be buying something.
No, it don't. Like,
what I mean by that is, but what I'm getting at is as long as it's from the heart is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Most times there's money involved, so yeah, you probably are buying something, but don't let it be about how good of a gift you can give. Let it be about what the gift means.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is find something that shows her how much you mean to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know your significant other. I know mine. I know what her interests are. I know what she loves, what she doesn't love. Like, find something that's going to show her you mean the world to me and I am lost without you. That would be my tip, and I don't.
Yeah. And I think it can be simple too. I mean, too many times we try to complicate it, and yeah, this thing of just going and this is Valentine's Day, so we owe my wife a gift, or I owe my wife flowers. Let me tell you something. If you think you owe your wife this, and that's the only reason you're doing it, it's because this is what our culture does on Valentine's Day. Because if I don't, I'm gonna get viewed differently.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, that gift is gonna mean nothing to her.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it may be exciting at the moment, but let the gift be truly from the heart and not because of Valentine's Day. Do you know that the best flower giving is not on Valentine's Day? That will mean the most to your wife. The best time is random time. You walk in the front door with flowers to say, babe, I love you.
Yeah.
That will mean more to her than Valentine's Day flowers will ever mean to her. Now, but don't forget Valentine's Day.
Yeah, don't. The thing that I'll just give some pointers, I like making a big deal about my wife. Hey, send her flowers to work.
Mm-hmm.
All that means, if she has a job, send her flowers to work. Promise you. Because here's what happens, and this is kind of funny. There's going to be a lot of flowers sent to a workplace, and if she don't have flowers at the workplace, then it's, why does Tammy's husband love her more than you love me? and I'm just joking. Of course, women don't always think that way, but hey, make a big deal out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they want is for them to know that they're valuable to
and they're
you.
special too. Yeah. And I would say another quality thing to do is giving of your time over that
Mm-hmm.
moments, and let them know that you're the most valuable thing to me in this very moment, and I'm going to spend our most valuable thing in life, which is time, with you on Valentine's or this evening. This is about us. My phone's going in my pocket. I'm not worried about nothing but you.
Yeah.
Our kids are over here. I'm not worried about my kids right now. I'm worried about you.
Yeah,
you matter to me. This is your time. This is mine and your time. Take her on a date. One thing me and my wife have done that has really helped our marriage a lot is we do a once a month random date, and we try to it's kind of funny, we try to see how cheap we can be.
Gosh, that sounds amazing.
See how cheap we can be, and it's crazy what comes out. And I actually learned that from someone else. That's not my idea, so I'll go ahead and say that. But and it's crazy because it's fun.
Yeah,
it makes it fun.
Lauren, we're about to adopt a new date method.
So, but yeah, no, I again, we're no experts on none of this. We're just giving you some advice from I've been married just about 11 years now, and just want to go ahead and let each man know that's married under 11 years. When you get to the 11-year mark, you still don't know.
Yeah, there's still an element that we're just shooting in the dark.
We're just shooting in the dark, and
we're just testing things.
Yeah,
does that work?
Yeah, we're gonna give you some advice, and then y'all can let us know how it works.
Yeah,
and then if it works,
let's start a comment on this video what works so we can all learn together.
Yeah. So no, but no, I do feel that it's a special day for our wives. Us, man, Valentine's Day probably is not as big of a deal to us. If it didn't happen, we'd probably sleep just as good. Yeah. So it's really more about your lady than it is anything else when it comes to Valentine's Day.
Lady and heart-shaped Reese cups.
And Reese cups, yep. A lot of chocolate. A lot of chocolate over Valentine's Day.
I definitely get some chocolate.
You know the chocolates that I cannot stand. You know them assortment of chocolates that you get. They're all over Valentine's. They got all these. They got caramel, then they got
Oh yeah, like a
half
little
that,
box.
Yeah, half that candy is straight
Oh, it's
garbage.
trash. I just wish.
Guys, quit buying that for your wife.
Yeah, it's awful. Have a dark chocolate. Like nobody eats the dark chocolate.
What chocolate does your wife like, and get that. Don't get
Yeah.
this random assortment, because let me tell you something. We got one in our house right now. I just was in it 2 nights ago. Found me some caramel chocolate, which was amazing. But anyway, the crazy thing about that box, it's been sitting in her drawer beside her bed.
Mhm.
Sorry, hon, I'm just spilling the beans here, but sitting beside her bed. But it's been there for 4 months. And I open it up, and there's not many chocolates. You can tell which one she likes because they're 8.
Yeah.
But all the other, that's just junk.
Yeah.
So find what your wife likes, what kind of chocolate she likes, if she likes chocolate or whatever candy, and get that exact thing, because I guarantee she'll finish it.
Oh yeah.
Because she loves it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And don't, when you buy that chocolate, don't later guilt her into eating when she's eating it. Let her tear it up.
Hey,
Come on,
hammer
guys.
down.
Come
Hammer
on.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Well, I guess let's swap over to our last segment.
Read of the week.
Yeah, so it is my week. This one is a pretty great book that I've been reading, The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni. To me, if you want to change your business and find team players, read this book. It paints it so clear for you, figuring out there's 3 essential virtues: being hungry, humble, and smart, and people smart. And those people are game changers in your business. Identify them, find them, empower them. But to me, this is a great one to read. And like I said last week, leaders are readers.
Yes. Yes.
Read a book.
And if you're not a good reader, I want to give while we're talking about reading, there's something that I did recently, and I could be crazy, which I probably am. When I told somebody this the other day, they're like, it kind of gave me an eye, so I'm probably weird. But what I've started doing is I buy the hard copy book, but then I also go to Audible and purchase the Audible book.
Yeah.
I put my earbuds in, turn the speed up to 2.5, because I tried to read like on the speed that they read on a pod, or like when you're listening to it Audible. Guys, it's slow. It'll be there all day. So I got it turned up to 2.25.
Yeah.
And that flows. And what it's done for me is I feel like I'm remembering details of the book a lot better, because I'm not only reading, because I'm still reading the book,
Yeah.
but I'm also hearing it read at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's another thing it's done, it's helped me stick and stay focused on a book and not got my earbuds in, outside noise is gone, and I'm really zoned into that book. So, but yeah, I like Cory said, leaders are readers, and if you want to lead with purpose, you're going to have to go somewhere and find some knowledge. And a lot of books out there. We're in a time that there's so much knowledge that you can get a hold of.
Yeah, just go out and get it.
Yeah. So, but good stuff. I read this book a while back, and it is a very good book, Cory.
Yeah,
good choice. Good choice. All right, so again, I want to thank every listener for spending their time with us. It's an honor to sit here and have these conversations and have you all sit and spend time and listen to us. So next week, we're going to be diving into a little bit of the subject of, the devil does not like a business that revolves around honor and glorifying him, that it's all about God. And so we're going to kind of dive in. We're going to bring a guest on, Lord willing, to that also is in business, that runs a God-fearing business, that it's all about the kingdom. And we're going to bring him on and just talk about the temptations that the devil throws at you while you're trying to run a business all for the glory of God. And it's all about God in your business. So it's going to be an exciting episode.
I'm fired up.
The gentleman that's coming on is a good friend of mine. We spoke about him a few times, but we won't share his name at this point. So again, go to YouTube, give us a like on the video, then subscribe to it. Comment. We would love to get our comment section going a little bit more. So if If you got something, even if it's negative towards us, throw it at us. We love it. We want to continue to do better. If you got something you want us to talk about, like we talk about all the time, throw it on there. If you don't want to put it on a comment section and you know us, let us know. Just call us.
Yeah. Facebook message.
Message, whatever it is. And if you haven't got it, you better run to the store, because the store will close and your wife will be ticked off because you didn't get her the Valentine's thing you wanted. So right in this very moment, right now, go. Hurry, go get it, because you're fixing to be sold out and you're going to be in trouble. So thank y'all for listening. Lead with Purpose. This is episode 2 of season 2 of Yoders Talk. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.